Welcome to the stream. Today we're starting a new game dev project because we wrapped up Cookie Clicker last week. Yay. I suppose I should probably put that up somewhere for people to look at if you're curious. I don't know. I don't know that anybody cares what my first sad little Cookie Clicker project looks like. This is gonna be a day where words are hard, I can already tell. Anyway, today we're starting a roguelike in Godot. This is Sonic Pi, by the way. That's what the music's coming from. So if at any point you would like the music to change or something, let me know, because I have full control. Otherwise, I'm just gonna leave that in the background. You know what, I almost wonder if that's... Yeah, whatever, we'll leave it. Oh, and I learned how to control the volume better rather than having to add a volume factor to every single thing that uses volume, which was painful. There's just a universal mixer control, and you can just set the amplitude for everything. So I can just set it to 0.4 and we're golden. But I've got this fresh new Godot project, and we're going for a top-down 2D roguelike. As I tangle all of my hair in all of the everything. It's gonna be great. I'm just for vanity purposes loading up what the software and games scene is looking like right now on Twitch. Well, the top stream has 448 viewers. Don't think we're competing with that. Anyway. So, things that we need to get done today. I need some kind of player representation. It needs to be able to move around the screen. And if that doesn't take up the entire 2 hours, I also need to figure out procedural level generation. So we'll start on that. Because I don't know how that works. I'm very interested in learning, but I don't currently know anything about how procedurally generated anything in games works. So this is going to be a fun learning experience. I also don't know what the theme of this thing's going to be yet. I'm envisioning some kind of like cyberpunky hacker thing, so like it's very like cheesy 1980s hacker movie kind of style. So like you're going through the motherboard and you have to fight the firewall to get to root or something. I don't know. Figure it out later. There's some basic core roguelike mechanics that we can make and then skin it later and come up with the story and whatever. If this even needs a story, I don't know. 1 second. My wrist is already complaining at me because I did a bunch of work this morning and did not wear the wrist brace, and that was foolish. Okay. I think the first thing is going to be see if there's a roguelike tutorial to at least get the basics down. Don't mind me dancing to the music. That's why I chose this music, by the way. I figure we'll base our game music on this. This is just some sample code that's in This is just some sample code from Sonic Pi. It's the acid example. And then I messed around with just a tiny bit. But it's all just loops and arrays, honestly. Some random number generation. Another cool thing about random number generation in Sonic Pi, in that it is not at all random. It is a deterministic, random, heavy quotation sequence, because then you can just have things as random, but it'll still get the same sequence of numbers. So if you're trying to make a song and you find a bit that sounds good, you can replicate it, because if it's truly random, you'll never replicate it again. But because it's not truly random, it'll just take the same series of numbers each time. So if you want like a different chunk of random numbers, you just change the random seed and you get a different chunk of random numbers, but it's still repeatable, which is very helpful if you're trying to make music. Godot 4 Roguelike tutorial. Oh, hey. Somebody might have done exactly what we need. Let's drag this over here so you can see what we're doing. This Bozar character has made a Godot roguelike tutorial. Okay. Export your first project. Do we need that part? Hang on, I'm gonna leave that there. New tabs. Open the million tabs. I don't know if we actually need this part. Create a static dungeon. Get sprites from a tile map. Create sprites by script and mock-up UIs. Listen to keyboard. I might skip ahead to this 4 part. Yeah. I might skip ahead to this part because I want to make my own tile set, and I don't necessarily feel like doing that today. I'm not necessarily feeling like pixel art. Okay. Respond to inputs through output messages. Find several ways to handle inputs on different levels. First, register inputs with specific name. You know what? Might go with the Godot docs tutorial for this. Input handling. Do we have input examples? Map's most flexible way to handle a variety of inputs. Because you're saying we might want an input map. To bind arrow keys. Okay. Doing this entirely out of order for this tutorial, but you know, that's probably okay. Because we want something that moves in a grid like this. So, okay, converting set by characters. Okay. Maybe we should do this in maybe we should do this roughly in order. Actually, how old is this? 2020? It's probably still fine. Don't mind me dancing to my own music. I gotta learn how to make some like dubstep and like drum and bass. Some nice crunchy glitchy sounds. I also fell down a rabbit hole watching Twitch DJs last night, and I'm like, I could figure out this live coding thing. Be a live coding DJ. I really want to do that. It's like it's using Godot 3, yeah. Is it going to be significantly different? Because because I've got Godot 4. Is it going to be very different from Godot 3? I wonder if there's a more up-to-date tutorial. Oh, you know what? There is a much more up-to-date tutorial. Oh, maybe we should use this one. Maybe we should do this one. Yet another roguelike tutorial in Godot. Your subreddit Roguelike Dev does a complete roguelike tutorial. Event where participants go through the tutorial together over the course of several weeks. What is this? Really question is the one for Python and... Okay, but... Huh. Well, let's see how this one looks. Oh, this has its own website. Look at that. Isn't that fancy? Part 1, drawing the player character and moving it around. Oh, this sounds perfect. Okay, let's follow this one. I like this one better. This other one can go away. We don't need that. This is much better. Still want some bipolar stuff, and there was a bit of creating a new scene with a node 2D as a root node and call that node game. I can do that. Okay, step 1 complete. Create a sprite 2D. Oh wait, I need to save the scene. So create a script on the nodes. Okay. Maybe I should stick this here and that one. There we go. Okay. Now we can see what's going on. Okay. We want to save that scene under source. Why are you so big, window? Game. Game scene. Okay. Also create a script on the node. Attach script. I mean, that's not. Hang on. Hang on. We want a source folder, and inside the source folder, we want a game folder. That's where we want. No, we want this inside game. There we go. Attach script. There we go. Okay. Step 1. Now we want to put something on the screen to represent the player. Create a sprite 2D as the child of game. Child node. Sprite 2D. Rename player. On the sprite, go into offset. What is that? What is offset? Oh, here we go. Offset. Uncheck centered. Add a new atlas texture into the texture slot. How do I do that? Add a new atlas texture into the texture slot. That's not either of those. Oh, here we go, texture. Up there, that texture, new atlas texture. Don't need that. And then we want to edit our atlas texture. Drop our monochrome packed. Okay, I'm using Kenny's 1-bit pack for this, which is by far my favorite pack. Alright, I guess for learning purposes, I will borrow this. But eventually I'll make my own. I guess I will have to... I'm using this and I put it in the directory assets. Okay. Create new folder. Assets. I have to find in my downloads. Probably have to unzip this. And maybe one day that'll actually happen. Did I not say extract files? There we go. Okay. Then I don't want it in there. I do want it in my game folder. And here. Which now shows up right there. Okay, perfect. Okay, so drop our, oh dear. Come on. It doesn't want to get any bigger. Of course it doesn't. Put a tile sheet. One of these maybe. Let's make this big. Because this is painful. Here we go. Monochrome packed. Okay. Next, click Edit Region. That's exciting. Snap mode. Grid snap. And set step to 16 by 16. Then select one of the little figure icons as your player sprite. Oh. So do we want to be our player sprite? A lot of items. There's a bunch of little people in here. I suppose this is supposed to be a little monstery thing, but I kind of like it. These are cute. How about this little guy with a wizard hat? That seems like fun. Okay. Did I successfully select it? I have no idea. Okay, let's try this again. Edit region, step, grid snap. I want this one. Oh, there we go. I have to drag around it. That's what I want. Okay, now we've got a player character. I don't know. Okay. We have a character. We have a character. Is it on the screen? Oh yeah, look at that. We actually have a character on the screen. Beautiful. Oh, there's something about import. Something about importing things to make it not blurry like that. But I remember from the last time I did this. But I don't remember what it was. It was something under the import tab. Or does texture 2D. Mode. Maps. Wasn't that? Is it texture filter? Oh, maybe it was in product settings. Yes, that sounds familiar. Rendering textures. Linear. I think we wanted to do nearest. Was that that was the fix? Thank you. Could not remember where that setting was to save my life. Okay. We have our little wizard dude on the screen. Okay. And we want in our game code. What is this doing? Player grid position. Oh, is that's setting our... That's setting our player grid position. Okay. And then that's saying that this player variable is a reference to the 2D sprite called player. And because that's nested, that should just work. So we'll hold the player's position. If we were following the original tutorial too closely here, then we would run into an issue. When we move the player 1 to the right, let's say, then in a console grid, this means one whole cell, but if we add 1 to the X component of the position in Godot, we will only move it by a pixel. So we need to convert between coordinates in pixels, I'll call them world coordinates, to coordinates on our grid, which I will call grid coordinates. That we will create a static grid class. So we're not in the assets folder anymore. We want a new folder called utils. And we want a new script called grid. Oh, okay. And then what's grid doing? Hey, Hypercyper, how are you doing? I'm making the roguelike you requested. Or at least I'm attempting to. It's going to be a very long learning process. Okay, we've created a script. What are we putting in it? This is not helpful for you guys because that's behind the chat. So we'll do that. Can't have graphics, just ASCII. Is little pixel art graphics suitable? For the purposes of this tutorial, we're having little pixel art graphics. Because I want to make little pixel art graphics. Ow. So what is this saying? Give it a class name so we can call it. We're defining 16 by 16 as a tile size. So if we end up going with different sized icons, we just have to change those numbers. That's nice. We have two static functions. So this is going to convert grid coordinates into pixels and pixels into grid coordinates. Okay, that makes sense. So after dealing with the grid, we will start foundation for a very interesting design. A very interesting design pattern. Oh boy. The command pattern. What's a command pattern? Game programming pattern. I guess I should learn about a thing. Sidebar, we're learning about a thing. Encapsulate a request as an object, thereby letting users parameterize clients with different requests, queue or log requests, and support undoable operations. Uh-huh. Okay. A command is a what is even this word? Reify? Make something abstract, more concrete, or real. Learning new words today. This is not making anything clearer. Reification is a fallacy of ambiguity. The music is a bit of different sample code from Sonic Pi that I modified a little bit again. I'm envisioning that this roguelike maybe has a cyberpunk or like hackery, like cheesy 80s hacker movie kind of feel to it, so I tried to pick some vaguely hackery music. Clear, how about you reify it? Yeah, let me just get right on that. This is not... It is the error of treating something that is not concrete, such as an idea, as a concrete thing. A synonym? Demonstrate, epitomize, exemplify, exhibit. Oh god, this is not helpful. A command is a reified method call. This... Whoever wrote this just likes sounding smart. Oh, they defined it right here. It basically means thingify. Okay. Of course, pithy often means impenetrably terse. Yeah. Oh, it goes on to explain it. Reify, in case you've never heard it, means make real. It's making something first class. Okay, whatever. Both terms mean taking some concept and turning it into a piece of data, an object that you can stick in a variable, pass to a function, etc. So by saying the command pattern is a reified method call, what I mean is that it's a method call wrapped in an object. That sounds a lot like a callback, first-class function, function pointer, closure, or partially applied function, depending on what language you're coming from. And indeed, those are all in the same ballpark. Commands are an object-oriented replacement for callbacks. Okay, that makes slightly more sense. All of this is abstract and nebulous. I like to start chapters with something concrete, and I blew that. Yeah, you did. To make up for it, from here on out, it's all examples where commands are a brilliant fit. Anyway, yeah, really. Okay. Somewhere in every game is a chunk of code that reads in raw user input, button presses, keyboard events, mouse clicks, whatever. It takes each input and translates it into a meaningful action in the game. How far have I come? I have a picture on a screen. It doesn't move yet. Oops. That's where we're at. I think maybe I don't need to read that right now. I'll read that off stream about the command pattern. Here we'll use the term action. That's what it's called in the original tutorial. So create another script under actions. Okay, and then we'll extend that into escape action, move action, and then we'll use those in an event handler. Okay. This is starting to feel like they're just using different words for things I already understand. This is good. Don't ask me to explain it yet. But I feel like it's coming together. Okay. So you're saying under the source file, make an entities, actors, actions hierarchy. Entities. Actors. Actors. Actions. Now I feel like I'm directing a movie. Action! And then we just need that in an action script. No, not a scene. Nope. Right? Yes, action singular. Which is just that. And then we have escape action. And a movement action. Movement action. I did see that adventure mode's coming soon to the Steam edition. Like next month? 1 month-ish? Something like that? Very soon. I'm excited about it, and I will absolutely play it. I mean, I guess I could download the not Steam version and play it now. Maybe I'll do that on Friday. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. It can be research. It can be research for my... Oh my god, it's a blizzard. Last night, we had a thunderstorm. Like, deluge of rain, thunderstorm. And now it's a blizzard. We had no snow this morning. And now it's doing its very best to make me have to shovel. But I'm not going to, because it's all going to melt in 2 days anyway. Current non-Steam version doesn't have it? I thought it did. I thought I'd seen that people were playing it. They were playing adventure mode. I was so certain. Or was it just they were playing like a demo or something? Okay, move into action stores an offset. Where and how the character is moving relative to her current position. And this offset is initialized right when creating this action. Ugh. So don't want to go out in that later. With the basics of our action system in place, we will create a new node that will handle input for us in the game scene. Create a new node, child of game, and call it event handler. Can I just basic node? Yes, I can. Event handler. Create a script on it. For the love of event. Handler. Oh, I can't spell. Handler. Meh. And then what do we want? Okay, so this is the thing that's going to take our up button and map it to a grid, basically. I don't feel like typing all that, so I'm gonna cheat. Wait, I don't need... Oh, never mind, I do need everything tapped in like that. Okay. So, if we press our up button, then it creates a new movement action with the offset of -1 in the y-axis, which will move us up. Okay. This first function creates an empty action. If any of the directional inputs are pressed, we create a movement action. Yep. Built-in actions mapping to the arrow keys. In a later tutorial, we'll create proper actions for this. Then if UI cancel, which maps to the escape key, among other things pressed, we create an escape action and then return the action. So back in the game script, we'll create an event handler. Can I not put that on the same line? That seems weird. And then you're our process function. And I think we don't need that. So, on every frame, we get the action from the event handler. And if it's a movement action, we update the player position with our action offset. And then set the player position to the world coordinates. And if you press escape, you quit the game. I assume is what that does. Yes, was I right? Executed every frame, yeah. Cool. Yes, if it's an escape action, we quit the game. Cool. Alright, I was right about what that does. To make 2 more changes in the project settings. Application run main scene to our game scene. Okay. Next, go to rendering environment. Rendering environment. Default clear color black. To match the background color of our sprite sheet. Okay, so in theory, this is all we need to have our little guy and move him around the game. Maybe. Okay, here we go. Oh! Yeah, there we go. It's absolutely tiny. There we go. I got a little guy and I'm moving him around. All right, that's way too small. Let me just, let me... Can I scale this up to 2? Okay, that's better. Let's try 3. Because I want to actually be able to see what's going on. There we go. We got our little guy walking around. Oh, this is great. I'm absurdly pleased with this. That only took an hour. I am grateful for this tutorial though, because that would have taken me so much longer to figure out on my own. Pause for messages, nothing important. Ugh. Hee hee hee. So fun. Okay. Yeah, making a map is going to be the next step. I'm thinking. Well, I think that's the next step in the tutorial, too. I was too lazy to record a GIF, so you have to imagine a little figure moving around here. Beautiful. Okay. Roguelike tutorial part 2. The map. This is amazing. I can't believe that this is literally exactly what I wanted. We move on to creating a more generic entity and then start on the structure of the map. Well, I don't really want a more generic entity right now because I'm not even trying to make enemies or anything. So I'm going to skip that part for now. Because I don't feel like making NPCs right now. Where's the map part? You won't be able to move the player. Okay, but that's fine. I'm going to talk about differences and approaches again. The original Python tutorial is a bit more oriented towards keeping the map as data and having a render function that creates a visual representation from that data every turn. However, in Godot, similar to how we did with the player, we choose objects that can draw themselves, allowing us to just once tell them how they should look and occasionally update where they should be, with the engine handling the actual drawing. I could very well... Hi. I could very well create a game map that's a node in the scene tree and have it have functions to access data. However, since the map needs to be accessed and passed around a lot over the course of this tutorial, for that reason I chose to separate concerns by having a map class that just holds the data and a map node that holds an instance of that map data and use it to create the visual representation. Should make a character sheet? I absolutely will. That's not a plan for today, but probably next week. Once I've solidified my theme idea a little bit more in my head. But I'm thinking like neon colors. It'll make me happy. But yeah, I absolutely want to make a little sprite sheet of like animations and no, I don't know what else. But yes, a sprite sheet will be happening. I will make all of my own art and all of my own music and all of my own code insofar as I took it from tutorials. So we'll probably have a pixel art stream next week then to do that. Speaking of tiles, I will in fact deviate from the classic Godot approach a bit by not using a tile map node. Ooh, deviation. The main reason for that is the lighting system we'll be adding in part 4. Lighting, I hadn't even considered that. Okay. Each tile will have a lit and unlit version, oh I like it, which will be differentiated by different color. With just one sprite sheet asset and using our modulate trick, this would be surprisingly difficult using the built-in tile map. Considering our simple tile set, on the other hand, we won't need any of the specialized functionality of that node, like auto tiling. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to read about tile maps at some point, but that's a later problem. I'm just gonna open a tab so I don't forget. Godot tile map. But that's for later. Therefore, I believe that my approach using sprites and placing them in code is justified. Sure, I don't know to know any better. Don't know enough to know any better. Sounds good to me. Let's move on to the map, or rather its building blocks, i.e. tiles. In this tutorial we have 2 different types of tiles. Each tile type will have the same characteristics. Okay. So we're going to define... Okay, we're going to make a tile definition. So that we can have different types of tiles. Okay. Oops, I guess this doesn't need to be running anymore. Put it in our map. Source map, tile definition. Source. Map. New script. Tile definition. Favorite classical era nation? You're asking me history questions. I don't know history. There's a running joke in another Discord I'm in that my sense of history and time is extraordinarily warped, like the dinosaurs happened shortly before World War II. And that was all just like shortly before I was born. No sense of time. Classical era nation. Talking about like Roman Empire stuff? That's the only one I can think of. But I wouldn't say that's a favorite, it's just the only one that comes to mind. Okay. What was I doing? Map. Tile definition. So what is this saying? I don't know what an export category is. I don't know what I kind of know what an atlas texture is now. Color light, lit and dark. We have properties is walkable and is transparent. Both of these seem to be the same color, which I'm a little bit confused about why light and dark are the same color, but I'm sure that will get explained later. Rome is a great answer. I suppose I should say ancient Greece, hey? Given Artemis. Maybe we'll go with Greek. Ancient Greek. Feel like time is going too fast? Always. Like, it feels like... I know my last stream was like days ago, but I'm pretty sure it was like 2 days ago, not like a lot more days than that. And just whole weeks go by and I'm like, wait, I didn't accomplish anything. Two export categories in action. Oh, right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Rome's a city and Greek is a lot. Now I don't know a lot of ancient Greek cities. I don't know any Greek cities. There's some kind of island one that I can't think of the name of. I don't know. Tesos? I'm just making up words at this point. Like, I don't know what I'm talking about. Last time I studied ancient Greece was like 8th grade, so I don't remember anything. It was quite a while ago. So sure, those cities sound great. Oof. Quite a while. For certain definitions of quite a while. I appreciate the sentiment, but 8th grade was more than 1 decade ago. Wait, how old are you in grade 8? Oh, you know what? That's closer to 2 decades ago. Oh man, automod. Automod's being a little aggressive. You're like 24. You're so sweet. You're incredibly wrong, but very sweet. It objected to the city of Lesbos, or the island of, sorry, Lesbos. What do you mean invented? Sorry, the water's trying to kill me. I don't think you can invent an orientation. Pretty sure that just sort of happens. I don't doubt that's where the words came from that we use today, but like women being attracted to other women, I'm pretty sure has always been a thing for as long as human history. For as long as humans have existed, I'm pretty sure that's just always been happening. But that's where we got the words we use for it today. Okay, what was I doing? Getting makeup in my eye, that's what I'm doing. Mascara's more trouble than it's worth. What is even going on in this chat right now? Poet from Merosis, Island, lyric poetry. Huh. Learning things. Okay, not dying. Stop the dying. Ow. Okay. Choked on water and honey. What makes honey so bad? I'm actually realizing I don't just eat honey. It's just like mixed into sauces and stuff is my main honey consumption. I just choke on everything. It's fine. It's just a normal part of my day. Minoan or Mycenaean Greece? I don't know. I don't know what the difference is. Water just runs, but honey sticks. Fair enough. Skipping out the original tutorial, which only defines the dark color. We have the color dark from the tile is unlit and a color lit from in the field of view. We won't be using the lit color until part 4 though. It doesn't hurt to define it now. Vector 2i, as far as I understand it, it's a vector, so it's 2 coordinates. And the I I'm thinking is integer, so it's 2 integer coordinates. That's what I think, to my current understanding. No one's came first, not tops. Okay, so what's good about the other ones you said? Mycenaeans? What's good about those ones? mean, strong argument, but what's good about the other ones? It's an integer domain vector? I think so. As far as my current understanding goes, that seems to be what makes sense. Walkable tells us we can walk on it, and is transparent will come into play for field of view calculations. In our case, we only have tiles that match either walkable and transparent, or impassable and opaque. However, by separating them, you can easily have tiles like windows that you can see through but not walk through. That's neat. Okay. Yeah, yeah, right. So we have, where is it? Oh, for the love of... Okay. So basically in-game on every frame, we're getting event handlers, or we're getting actions from the event handler, and then if it's a movement action, we update the player position by an offset, because it's a roguelike, it moves in a grid, but if you just update by pixels, then it just moves smoothly, which is not what we want. We want things to move in grid format, so yeah, we have like a grid mapping. I don't know why my voice is going today already. I've only been talking for an hour. It's absolutely miserable outside. Do not want to go out there. It's the water choke. Figured out the map yet? No, I've been talking to you guys. I haven't got there yet. I'm working on it. Okay, creating two definitions. We're about to create floors. Okay. Creating a tile definition at assets, definitions, tiles. Assets. Definitions. Tiles. Tile definition. Oh dear. And we want to call it tile definition floor. Tile definition floor. Select a texture from the sprite sheet. Same way we did for the player. Texture. Let's texture. There we go. What are all these? Transparent. Oh, there's colored ones. Okay. But let's go for that. Same one. And then we can edit region. Figure out what our... Oops. No, that's not what I wanted at all. What's a good floor tile? Oops. Probably something over here. Maybe that's a floor tile. Or... Now let's have fancy floor tiles. Let's make my eyeballs really hurt. We'll do that. Okay. And we want light and color dark. Let's go for a terminal green color. Sure, you're nice bright green. Let's go with that. And color dark. Will be a darker version of that green. Sure. Oh, yeah, I haven't been keeping up with chat. What's going on? Am I into gods and ancient civilizations? I mean, a little bit. They're kind of neat. I have to appreciate where the name comes from. But it's not like a super deep interest, and I honestly don't know a whole lot about it. Can I do this? Oh my... It's not... I would like to copy that color. Why? Copy. Paste. There. Sure. Ugh. I'm gonna Twitch line. Your child, if memory doesn't lie, were you doing JavaScript at some time? I was. I do indeed do JavaScript, and then I realized, hey, what's stopping me from doing game dev? That sounds like more fun. So now I'm doing that. But I've spent like most of the last 10 years of my career being some kind of web dev, so yeah, lots of JavaScript in varying flavors. Get another tile definition and do walls. Definition wall. Just gonna have Atlas texture. That's the same one. And then we need a cool wall. Probably want a generic wall. That's a generic looking wall. That's gonna hurt my eyes with the floor, but I think that's just what we're gonna have to do. We'll roll with it for now. What is going on in the chat right now? Bunch of weirdos. Where is Cambridge anyway? I mean, obviously in the UK, but like, is it near anywhere that I've been in the UK? No, not really. Nope, that's really not near anywhere that I've been. I'm the weirdo. I mean, yeah, but you're here watching me, so what's that say about you? Oh, I forgot to check up the walkable and stuff. This one's not walkable and not transparent. This one is walkable and is transparent. Right. Oh, for the love of, I just checked the same things. Floor is walkable and transparent. Wall, not walkable, not transparent. Color dark. Ah, hi. Canada only second to UK? I'll take it. They have that one university. Oh yeah. What is going on? Why are you blinking? Okay. So we did that part. Now for the tile itself, we need to create a tile. Okay. A map. Map gets a tile script. That looks like this. So what does this do? We're using the tile definition for an extension of Sprite 2D. We have a position and a type. Type gets set to a tile definition type. And we can get R is walkable and is transparent. Okay. I think we're getting darn close to actually having something. Tiles shouldn't change their possession once set. Yeah, no kidding. Alright. We'll start with the map data. How do I like Godot script? It feels very similar to Python, actually. It's... I don't know, it doesn't feel super similar to JavaScript, but it's very similar to Python. Syntax speaking. But I don't think it works like Python under the hood. But it looks like Python. It's a bit like Kotlin. I don't really know Kotlin. I think I did exactly one leak code problem in Kotlin once, just to try it. But I have otherwise never touched it. Am I planning on making the map procedurally generated? Yes. I've got to learn how to put tiles on a screen first, and then I can learn how to do it procedurally. It's like naked Java. Man, I haven't touched Java in so long. I don't think I've done any Java since like second year university. Which was also a while ago. I mean, that was like 2 years ago because I'm 24 apparently? I don't know. Most of the equivalent code for the map from the original tutorial will go here. Yet another deviation I should mention is that I will not use a two-dimensional array, but rather use a flat array with an indexing function. On the one hand, I ultimately find that easier to handle. On the other hand, does this approach work better with Godot's typing system? I don't know if that was English, but sure. So let us create a new script. Okay, we're making a map data script. That's what we're doing. Under script map data. Don't know what a ref counted is. I imagine the tutorial will tell us. But it's loading what a floor and a wall is. Oh, I imagine this is where you can add different... Because right now we've only got one type of floor and one type of wall, but I imagine you could have like a top and bottom wall and a left and right wall so that you can get the nice corners going on. How does one get the other Twitch emotes? Which other Twitch emotes? There's an extension that you can install. Better Twitch TV that adds a whole bunch. But I think there's a couple of other things you can do to get more of them, but don't know what those ones are. Better Twitch TV is the only one I know. Square ones? What square ones? Oh, these square ones. Cute. Huh. Stop dancing, focus. We're so close to having actual map types. Send ref counted. Whenever I have something that isn't a node or a resource, I like to have it inherit from ref counted. The difference to object is that when you have to delete classes extending object yourself, while classes extending ref counted will keep track of how often they are referenced. Once a ref counted object is no longer stored as a variable anywhere, it will delete itself. Okay. We then have a constant storing our tile types so that we can easily access the definitions. We have created in code. For variables, we have width and height that will store the extents of the map. An array of tiles that we call tiles. Now, if you think about it, it might seem odd that we go to the lengths of having a non-node map data class only to have that store a bunch of nodes. However, this should make sense once we get to the map node, or at the latest in the next part when we get to map generation. Now let me show you the init function. Snow from streets in Sweden. What? Without wishing to sound rude, what's exciting about snow clearing in Sweden? Is it different from other places? I'm curious. Okay, this is the init function in this file. Sweden is the best, so I watch Sweden's snow cleaning. I mean, I grew up on the Canadian prairies. I've seen plenty of snow clearing. It's just not exciting to me, but some towns with 10 feet of snow, only in the eastern provinces usually. We don't usually get that in other places. But yeah, the East Coast just will get slammed with 10 feet of snow and it'll take them a week to dig themselves out. Right, because of course you don't get snow. That makes sense. Okay, so this is what? So these variables, we initialize the setup. Initialize the titles in tiles in setup tiles. Okay. Which looks like this. And you're upset because we don't have get tile yet. That's fine. Fine. So we go row by row. Setting floor tiles, I think is what this is doing. And then we slap down a wall. Okay. Well, I think what it's doing is, like, so we're starting for Y in height, but then we're going across, so we're going row by row, filling everything with tiles. So going across row by row. And then we're overwriting a few of them with wall tiles. I think. But I'm left going top. Yeah, this tutorial is doing it where 0, 0 is top left, and we fill downward. So, don't know that one's better than the other, but I'm going to follow the tutorial because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know enough to have an opinion on the matter. So we'll do it this way for now, and then later, if I decide the other way is better, we can change it. To fill the tiles row by row. Yep. I was right. Now we just initialize the whole dungeon with floor, and then we add a few chunks of wall. Then we have to do get tile, because you're upset that we don't have that. So you want to return the tile that's at tile index. Okay. Retrieve the correct... Okay, we're doing a flat array. To retrieve the correct tile, we need to get its index with a function I'll explain shortly. If the tile doesn't exist, function returns -1. Okay. So what's your fancy indexing function, and why do we want this over a 2D array? said why we weren't using a 2D array before. Why aren't we using a 2D array? I don't remember why it's... Right, I will not use a two-dimensional array, but rather a flat array. It's okay. Find that easier to hang. This approach worked better with Godot's typing system. Okay, so you didn't really say. Not specifically, anyway. Because I'm inclined that a 2D array would make more sense in this notion, but we'll go with this. Checks if grid position lies within the bounds of the map. Lies outside and the corresponding tile does not exist, we return -1. It does exist, we can calculate an index. Remember how we made sure to fill tiles array row by row? We know that each row has width tiles, so grid position y times width jumps the index ahead to the chunk of tiles that represent the row corresponding to the y coordinate of our position. From there, we'll need to count number of columns corresponding to the x coordinate. Alright. Treating the map like a linear sprite sheet, basically. I guess that works. Starting to understand why they put 2 spaces in between these. Ugh. This function checks if it's in bounds. Does bunch checks to make sure the x-coordinate is not lower than 0 or higher than or equal to the width. Okay. So if it's in the rectangle described by our map, for which we have valid tiles, we return true. And that's it for map data. Okay, create a new 2D node 2D as the child of game and call it map. Okay, this is where we get to the good part. Call it map. The node will hold our tiles. Here and also in later parts we make use of Godot's draw order, unless you use Z index magic, which we'll do at some point, or use Y sorting. Don't know what that is. Godot will draw nodes in the tree from the top to the bottom of the tree, which means if we want something to appear in front of something else, we just need to make sure it's further down the scene tree. Okay, that makes sense. Of course, our entities should be rendered in front of the map, so make sure to arrange the scene tree so that entities appears below map. We haven't done the entities part. Just think that you need to specify the function returns void. I guess otherwise it doesn't return anything. Like there's just no return, and that maybe messes something up. So now we're adding a map script. Attach script. Oh, I want you on your map. Lowercase map. Okay, so this is defining our map width and height. I might have to mess around with my window settings to make this work. It's another thing though, void equals nothing. I think, depending on your programming language, there can be differences between types of nothing. Like there's nothing as in, I returned, but there was nothing to return, so I've given you void or null or whatever, versus I just don't return. It's not that I returned you nothing, it's just there was no return. And some languages care about that difference and some don't. It's like the difference between, tell somebody, report back to me, and they come back later and say there's nothing to report, versus they just don't come back. There's a difference. Like, ultimately, you've gained nothing. You've gotten nothing back. But there's a difference in how the nothing was returned to you. Okay, so this is generating new map data, and then we place tiles. Okay. Code name, we export the desired map with enough this advantage of Godot that we can have these configuration parameters right at the nodes where they matter. Okay. Depending on the programmers you talk to, they can either be extremely philosophical or extremely not philosophical. There can be two very, very different discussions. So there's some very like mathy, theoretical, philosophical people, and some very just not, I don't care how it happens, just make it happen. Sort of a reference to map data object in the ready function, we create the map data and then call place tiles. So far they're not part of their scene tree, so here we add each one, which will now be drawn by the engine, and that's the map. Now we need to connect it to other parts of our game. Oh, Malkex1 coming in with the paragraphs. Welcome to the stream. Optimization during compilation. Ah, see, that's something I always forget to think about. Specifying situation. String is returned. private function, nothing elsewhere in the same function. So saying explicitly saying what it should be, the compiler doesn't have to guess. See ya, Hypercyper. Oh, it's that time. Oh, it's that time. Okay. We're gonna finish this up real quick so that I have a map that I can theoretically run around on. And then I'll have to wrap up the stream for the day because I need to do something about dinner before I go dance for 3 hours. Because dancing for 3 hours when you haven't eaten does not go well. Oh, thanks for the follow. Does that make 100? Oh, thanks for 100 follows, everybody. Nice round number. I love it. What am I doing? I'm just dancing to my own music. I don't know if I haven't showed this recently. This code is generating the music. I'm indicating with my hand like you can see me, like I'm presenting in front of a class. I'm gonna make my own music for this game using this code. This is Sonic Pi. Right now it's just some sample code that I modified slightly, but I'm gonna eventually make some music, some background music for the game, and that's also gonna be code. I'm gonna allow myself a brief distraction, so like I can change to what's it? I'm gonna turn this up slightly so you can hear it a little better. So we can change what kind of drum we're using. Maybe we can make it a boom. Yeah, so this is Sonic Pi. Pi is in the Greek letter or the number. And it is free. I'm gonna turn that back down now. If you Google Sonic Pi, it should come up. It's made by Sam Aaron. It's a Ruby-ish language, a Ruby-based language, but it's all about loops that sync up and make music. So something else I want to work on is live coding DJs are a thing, and I really want to be that good that I can actually like DJ a set. But that's later skills. For now, I'll just mess around with it and make video game background music. So let's actually see what this runs like right now. Oh, can I move around? Oh, I can move around on it. Look at that. Hey, it's not drawing walls. Huh. I don't think my window's big enough. Because you can see it's... Oh, I can walk right off my window. My window's not big enough. That's the problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy with this right now. You have no idea. Okay, but we're only... This window is only 14 grids high, so my wall is like down here somewhere. Let's fix that in project settings. Let's make this like 1000 by 1000, see what that does. We have a slightly different color over here. That's still not nearly tall enough. Okay, fine. I'll scale it down a little bit because that's the only way this is all going to fit on the screen. There we go. There's some wall way down there. We can walk over to our wall. Oh, I can't hold down the mouse. Can't hold down the button to keep going. You have to individually press things. And oh, I can walk through my walls. I can. That's cool. Well, okay, the walls are not functioning like walls yet. We can just parkour right over them. Parkour! That's not what we want. Fun as that is, that's not what we're going for. The dungeon's gonna be way too easy if we can just parkour over the walls. Head flag, yeah, it did, so I don't know. What's my tile definition? Tile definition, wall. Yeah, like, it's behind my... It's behind my video screen, but trust me, is walkable is unchecked, so it should not be walkable. Data. Tile. Not setting is walkable anywhere. We're defaulting it to true. It's not walkable, you just remain on the same tile. Actually, oh, maybe that's it. Maybe we haven't defined behavior for that. Let's finish the tutorial and see what that has to say. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the game script. And after event handler, we're not dealing with entities right now. We do need to add stuff about the map. You might need map data, like whether things are walkable, perhaps. The game still can do in previous. Okay, first we're going to expand our action class. Oh, it doesn't like... Since I haven't done the entity stuff, I'm just gonna make this player. I can't spell. Will that work? Oh my god, I can't. I'll type. Oh, why am I in insert mode? That still doesn't want to work. What if we just... Oh, could not resolve class action. this wrong? It does not like this line. Oh, it's talking about movement action and escape action because they're supposed to have this too. Do I traverse with WASD? Right now it's arrow keys because that's what the tutorial's using, but eventually I want to change that. Actually, I don't know if WASD will work right now. So it definitely works with arrow keys. I will try that next time I run it, but it's not going to run right now. Because it's not compiling right now. And movement action needs perform. Yeah. And we don't like entity because we didn't do the entity part of this tutorial, so can I do this? I don't think this will probably work. Yeah. So we're just gonna get rid of that part. I know you don't match the parent signature. Oh my god. Not find tape game in current scope? But okay. At least do that. And we'll comment out that right now. This is gonna get messed up because I haven't done part of the tutorial. Okay. An update from the blah 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 blah. That's great. We use the new functionality. We delete the existing process function in game and replace it with the following physics process. Reason to use physics process in the next part, we will introduce a camera that will move with the player, and using process introduce some unwanted flickering. Okay. So in theory, we just do like that. Rather now, when checking what type of action it is and reacting appropriately, we can just call perform on the action and have it execute itself. It's escape action, it will quit the game. If it's a movement action, it will move the player if possible. To now run the project. Okay, so this is giving us a player. Which this is not accepting. Fine, I'll leave entity in here. Then we're angry because we don't like game. We also don't like game and we don't like entity. And this seems like a problem. It's action class you've got there, something, an interface. Yeah, so it's like, there's like an event handling situation. So everything that happens is an action. Basically. Yes, pass means return nothing. It just means this function's here, but it has to have at least one line, just for syntax. So pass is just like, it's here, but it doesn't do anything. What happens if I try to run this? Probably nothing. Could not action dot perform because it doesn't know what entity is. Okay, stop. I will have to do at least a little bit of the entity part of this tutorial. I don't want to make a whole other NPC. But I guess I will need to make an entity class. Really gotta do this quickly, because I really gotta wrap up. Okay, the properties of an entity are set in its constructor. A later part eventually uses a factory pattern to create a few prototype entities in code and then spawn copies of them. However, if we have a range of properties that we want to slot into entities, the common approach in Godot is to use resources. So what we'll do is create an entity definition resource and set all the properties there. We only have the player to define at the moment, so right now this might feel like unnecessary extra work, but the payoff should become apparent in part 5. Fine. We'll make an entity definition. Source entities. Create new script entity definition. Does that. Export category visuals might be unfamiliar if you come from, so it's unfamiliar because I don't come from any Godot. It's a new annotation that lets us group exporter properties in the editor, making things more organized. Sure. Properties we want to export are a texture of type Atlas texture. And color, so we don't accidentally create transparent, aka invisible entities. It's a different graphics pack for individual files. I recommend changing this to just texture, but Atlas texture is the one we want if we're using sprite sheets. Okay. Create a file next to the entity definition. So we'll just have entity. And I'm going through this super fast because I need to wrap this up. Okay, we have construct next to start position. Position is guidance. Okay. So we give the entity the ability to move. Okay. Let's see how to use this entity class to spawn a player and an NPC. So we get a player definition in the game. Do we not care about this anymore? I guess we don't. Did you not tell us to create us just in the entities file, but then literally right here it's telling us to import it from under actors? Fine then. There's a bug in this tutorial. That's fine. This is not the correct path in the slightest. Okay, you know what? No, I'm putting this back where they were. And I'm just going to drag this up here. And delete everything else. That's... Oh, no, we're talking about textures. Oh, jeez. What is... I will be streaming Dwarf Fortress on Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. That'll be my next stream. Next game dev stream will be next Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. And what good version of Godot is this for? I'm hoping 4, because it's been working so far, and it was made just last year. So it should be relatively good. I think I missed a step, is what happened. Need to create a new resource of our custom entity definition. Ah, yes, I did miss a step. I totally did miss a step. The tutorial's fine, I just missed a part. I need a new custom entity definition. In assets, definitions, entities, actors. Entities. Actors. What type was this again? Is it a tile definition? I think so. I think that was the plan. Okay. Okay, so we gotta select new Atlas texture. Do this again. Grab our little player character. Select a color for the player. White is just fine. So now this will work after I fix the naming of my file. Rename entity definition layer. definitions. Entities, actors, entity, definition, player. This should be okay. It does now, so just chill. Will this magically run? Probably not. No. Okay, you know what we can do? We can just drag whatever the heck that's called in there. Why are you upset? We had an entity definition. I'm so confused. Why are you upset? So the action takes the game and an entity as arguments. Yes. The entity being the current player. The entity is a generic class that will eventually allow for NPCs and probably enemies and stuff, in addition to the player. But for the purposes of this, yes, it's the player. Cannot respond of tile definition to constant player definition. Specify type. What? Alright, did I make you... Oh, did I make you the wrong kind of... Oh, wait. Wait. Oh, I needed to make it this kind. So this doesn't work. And now we can rename that to be entity definition player. Come on. I might have to give up on this for today. Yeah, I think I gotta give up on this. Yeah, I gotta wrap this up. Okay, well, it kinda sorta almost works. Aside from I tried to make it work better and then I broke everything. Oh, I fixed this part though. Wait, okay, so action perform. Cannot find type game in the current scope. But it's right there. Okay. Yeah. All right. We'll figure that out next week. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for the follows. 100 followers. That's awesome. I will be back with some Dwarf Fortress on Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. And I'll be back with more game dev next Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. VODs. If you're interested in VODs, I have a YouTube channel where those all go up. And, you know, there's the other socials, if you want to follow those. TikTok is primarily just clips, the same stuff I put on YouTube Shorts. Instagram is sporadic and just whatever the heck I feel like putting up there. So it's just like random life stuff. And there's a Discord that I lurk in my own Discord. I'll be honest, it's pretty dead in there. But it's there if you want it. Take care, young lady. Thanks. Yeah. So I'll see everybody on the next stream. Bye.